Good afternoon, Nelson. Chris is going to be joining us later. So this webinar is mostly going to be about first time selling, second time buying. We've got Nelson Abreu, loan originator with the Money Store, and we've got Chris with B Smart Homes Inspections. I'm going to get right to it. So you can see the screen, Nelson?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Real estate tips and guides for the spring market 2024. Going to be talking about first time sellers and second time buyers. A little bit about myself: New Jersey licensed, Pennsylvania licensed. Better Homes and Gardens is my brokerage company that I'm working with as an agent, bilingual, speaking in Spanish and English. Pennsylvania, New Jersey license. Once again, on social media, Better Homes with Hector Press. There goes a smile. So I want to talk a little bit about appreciation, affordability, and money allocation. So what are we going to do with the money? We have to first know what we can afford. And as we're getting ready to sell, we need to see if there's money on the property. So appreciation is going to be the increase in value of a property. Rise over the last 5 years in New Jersey. Home values have risen 49% over the last 5 years. So that's a really big number. Monthly affordability on a $350,000 home, 7.5 interest, 5% down, 5,000 in property taxes. It's going to be roughly around 2,900 a month, roughly. We want to talk a little bit about home inspections and things that we might be unaware of, hidden defects. So there could be water damage, termite problems, structural damage. We need to check the home, older conditions. It might be a good idea to get a pre-listing inspection because there might be some things that we're unaware of. I met with a group, Curbio, in Pennsylvania. They had a lunch and learn, and this company, off of an inspection report, can give you estimates on repairs, itemized repairs, and you pay them Curbio at closing. So it's a really good idea to work with this company if you're like, hey, there's things with the house that I want to fix or repair before selling, and you don't have the money for it. You pay Curbio at closing. So I think it's a cool company to work with, possibly. Now let's talk about, as we're getting ready to sell, certificate of occupancy, property disclosures. So everything that we discover on an inspection, we need to disclose it in the property disclosure documents. And with the township and the certificate of occupancy, unless it's as is and the buyer's going to be responsible, we need to get this certificate of occupancy. It's going to be different in every township. So it's not like, oh, I sold in Glenelg, Pennsylvania. Now I'm in Sicklerville, New Jersey. I know what to do. They're going to ask for railings and windows and my doors, and no, it's going to be different. So check the checklist. Go with the township online, or you can call directly and ask them for their documents. Ask them for whatever is needed, their guidelines. Camden, the city in particular, has a lot of steps in the process. So you sometimes you just got to get a jump on it early. It could take months. So as we're getting ready to list current market value, we need to see what we're going to list the property at, and that particular range. We need to see the house as agents so we can properly come up with a number. It's going to be the market value is going to be homes sold in that area, 2 miles or less, similar square footage, similar bedrooms, similar bathrooms. Once again, properties that have sold recently. So when we do sign up, there's going to be a listing agreement. It's going to be to talk about terms, length, and a lot of different other topics. Compensation for the agents is going to be discussed, and we could discuss that one-on-one. Once again, when I want to talk about how we're going to list the property, I've had a couple of interviews and a couple of listing appointments, let's say, and the seller was talking about what Zillow said and the Zillow Z estimate. It's not going to be as accurate as a realtor or agent seeing your property, so we need to have an understanding that Zillow and Z estimate isn't the one and be all. Okay, We've got offers on the property. We are under contract. We're getting ready to sell. We're moving along, 5, 6, 4 weeks, right? Whatever have you. Now we're going to get involved with buying, right? So the home buying process. For us to work together, we're going to have to fill out a buyer's agreement and a pre-approval document from a lender to work with me. Together, we're going to figure out the best compensation. My commission is negotiable. So we can discuss the buyer's agreement more in depth one-on-one. My job is going to be to educate, communicate, call, text, email. I'm always going to be following up, and I'm really into the stats. Loan pre-approval, just a little bit about it. I'll have Nelson discuss a little bit more. It's going to let you know how much you can potentially borrow. It's going to set your budget for the whole buying process. You need to know what you can afford, what's your mortgage number, and we're going to look off of homes off of that number. There's no point in looking for properties that are listed at 350 if you're pre-approved for 300. For most loans, you're going to need tax returns, pay stubs, bank statements to get a pre-approval, W-2s as well. As we're looking at potential homes, working with agents, title, lender, insurance, inspector again, and then an appraiser. We're going to be looking for the township, price affordability, bedroom, bathrooms, floor. As we find a property that we're interested in, we have to get aggressive. It's just my advice. When you find a home that fits your needs and preferences, we're going to submit a good offer to win this race. Trust your agent to lead the negotiations in your favor. Inventory is low. A desired home that you might like might receive over 10 offers. I'm going to have this last page of everyone's information and email. It's a webinar, so we can just refer to that later, and you can have it. That's my part of my spiel. I'm going to send it over to Nelson now. Abreu, mortgage loan originator with Money Store. Just let me. So now you should be able, Nelson, to share your screen.
Okay, bear with me 1 second. You see it? Okay, so thank you, Hector. Good stuff. It's an interesting market we're in. So let's talk a little bit about, about our sellers webinar here we're doing. I do work for the Money Store, and a little bit about me before we get started. My name is Nelson Abreu, and like Hector, I am bilingual. My parents are right from the isla, the island of Puerto Rico. Thank God they taught me Spanish. I've been with my wife 42 years, and she's hot. Thank God. I'm so blessed. We have 2 children, Jared, who's 31, who just got married. And we have one godchild named Teddy. He looks like his father. Haha. And we have also a daughter, 25, who's now graduating from Rowan. Also, I've been doing this for 32 years, and I am licensed in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. So let's get to it. What's going on in the current markets today, right? Everybody wants to know. Well, currently we have more buyers looking for homes than we have homes for sale. So limited inventory, inventory is low. Demand and supply rule, right? Demand is high, but the supply is low. Massive benefit for you sellers. The environment too for selling a home is changing as we speak. And this is where I think it comes vitally important to stay in touch with Hector or myself to know what the changes are in the environment, because what could be done or what happened maybe even just a few months ago could be different today. So please stay in touch and we'll keep you abreast of what's going on. And it's definitely a seller's market. If you ever thought about selling a property, whether a home or an investment property, we're getting premium pricing for this, and I'm sure Hector will confirm that. So what do we do now? Okay, so we're selling a property or business, and now we have to allocate the funds, right, to maximize your return on investment and avoid being house poor. So what do we do? Okay, I think it falls into 3 categories, and I think Hector talked about this briefly. One is upscaling or upgrading a house. So I have clients came to me maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, first-time home buyers, and they bought a nice house. Maybe they bought it for, I don't know, 400,000. And now that house today is probably worth 550. Now this young couple 5 years later have maybe 2, 3 children. They need more bedrooms. They need more bathrooms. They need a yard. So this is a great market for them to upgrade, because when they bought the first time as a first-time home buyer, they might be only putting down 0 or 3% or 5% minimum because they didn't have money. But now that they have 100,000 or more, maybe perhaps in equity that they can use to purchase the new house, now they're very strong buyers. And in this market where it's very competitive, somebody who's putting down 20, 30, 40% down is definitely a strong buyer and basically reduces themselves from their competition. Then we have, of course, somebody like me, right? I guess I'm called a senior loan officer now. Somebody who's maybe children are grown. They don't need that 4-bedroom colonial. They don't need stairs going upstairs. They don't need stairs going to the basement. In fact, a lot of people might be looking for in their senior years here a rancher, something that has no stairs, nothing like that. So better opportunity. You can sell your current home, make again a nice profit, and use the money for investments. Purchase another house, like I said, with a larger down payment, or even possibly buy a vacation home. And I'll give you an example. A dear friend of mine recently, he's been in a house for about 6 years. He bought it for about 425, just sold it for 750. And with the equity, he purchased a new smaller home for just him and his wife. His 2 daughters are grown and getting, in fact, they're both getting married within a year. And then he bought a nice condo in Puerto Rico as a vacation home. So again, different ways to allocate your funds. And the third one is, if you're having an investment property and you want to maybe sell the investment property and purchase other investment properties. And Hector spoke in his last webinar about the 1031 exchange. So if you're an investor, I would highly recommend you check out that webinar. Hector covered it extremely well, because by using a 1031, if you're going from investment to investment, keep more money in your pocket. And that's what it's all about, right? And it reduces your large amounts of taxes you have to pay. Hey, we work too hard for our money. We don't want to give it away. So something to consider. And I think also Hector in that webinar explains how a family member who has maybe 2 or 3 already investment properties, but they're geographically far apart from each other. He's looking now to sell them, purchase just one investment property closer to his home, saving him the time, money, and getting a better return on his investment. So, we got to think outside the box, and these are just some ways that you can do that. Next, what kind of property can we afford? It's a big question, right? Whether you're selling and looking to buy another one, or a first-time home buyer. Well, first you want to talk to me, right? Your trusted advisor. Let's check to see what you qualify for and what works in your budget. In fact, my dear dad used to say, I like to eat steak. And what did dad mean by that? If you purchase a house that's very expensive, it's beautiful, right? But you might be house poor. And what I mean by that, a house that takes you to your limit, you might have to eat soup every day. And if you're like me, you might want to have a steak once in a while. So let's work something not only that qualifies you for your maximum, but also that works for you and your family and your budget, right? We all want to enjoy life. Next, there's 2 other people I would talk to. Talk to your financial advisor. Go over your specific budgets. He sees your whole portfolio. I do not. I just look at some basic things like Hector said, W-2s, tax returns, pay stubs, bank statements, and your current rental or property that you're selling. But a financial advisor looks at your whole portfolio. So you definitely want to talk to them and keep them in a loop to see your overall budget. The other thing too, which is huge, is talk with your accountant. There's so many pros and cons, especially from tax benefits. Tax rules are constantly changing. So you definitely want to talk to an accountant to make sure that, what you're doing falls in line and you're not penalized in any way. So what's this all about? This is a call to action, right? So let's protect yourself. Get educated, know your options, and cross your T's and dot your I's, right? We want to go in this knowing fully well what we're going into. All right. So home purchase with a monthly mortgage under $2,000 a month. What kind of house can I afford? So if you're looking at downsizing or possibly purchasing a home for the first time, here's an example. If you're looking for a home for about $325,000, putting as little as 5% down payment, qualified buyers would be looking at an estimated monthly principal and interest payment for about $2,000. Now, this is a good general rule, but keep in mind at that 2000, as it says there and below, it's one where you have to add the taxes, insurance, and in some cases, association fee and PMI. So you want to keep abreast of that it's not just 2000, but like I think in Mr. Hector's example, maybe closer to maybe depending on taxes, 27 to 2900. That's what it's all about. We're here to help you, right? Okay. So closing costs, loan estimate for a $300,000 purchase. Just going to go through this quickly, but just to give you a quick idea, if you look here, if you're buying a house for 300, put down 5%, right? There's two costs to you as a first-time home buyer or buying again: the down payment and closing costs. So on a house for 300,000 with 5% down, you're looking at $15,000 for down payment. And then over here under total settlement charges over to the right, you're probably looking at, depending on taxes, insurance, and attorney or title company fees, about $8,500 to about $10,000. So a house for 300 between down payment and closing costs, you're probably looking at an estimate, probably somewhere around 25, just to give you an example. But once again, once you find your house, your specific house, I can give you more precise numbers for that home. The importance of credit, right? Whew, this is a big one. And everything we do in life, it's all about our FICA, our credit scores. So let's go over, not only the credit, but how to repair it if needed. Okay, and keep in mind, repairing low or bad credit can take time and effort. I know that because I've worked with many clients to help them. Also, if it's credit that you have a few little hiccups on, I can definitely help you. If it's more intense repairs that you need, I also have a third-party agency that I work with that does phenomenal work to help people that really have a little bit of bumps and bruises that need a little extra tender care. So we can definitely connect you with that person. But here's some 5 main points to improving credit. One is review your credit. I highly recommend that you check your credit at least once a year. I do it. It's amazing. One year, I checked my credit and it dropped almost 100 points. And when I looked, it showed that I was late with a car payment to Ford. And I was very young, but interesting enough, the Ford I was late with, I had it on automatic payment. So when I called up Ford and said, "Hey, why am I late?" I said, "How do you have me making payments?" They said, "Well, you're on automatic pay. We take the money out." I said, "Great. How the heck can I be late?" So it's definitely worth looking into. And especially too, sometimes little medical collection accounts, things like that can pop up on your credit that you're not aware of. So check your credit at least once a year. Highly recommend. Make timely payments, right? A lot of this is common sense, what I'm going to tell you now, but even just being late with a $20 monthly payment to Home Depot or J.C. Penney or a credit card can knock your credit down 20, 30, 50 points plus. So try to always make time payments. Reduce credit card balance. If you have 5 credit cards or 10 credit cards and you always pay on time, but they're at their max, your credit score is going to be low. Rule of thumb, maybe try to keep your balance compared to your limit between 30 to 50%. That will keep your scores a little bit higher. Of course, the lower the balances, the higher the scores will be. Limit new credit applications, right? Especially if you're going to go buy a house. I have people that I qualify, and then they go and they call me after I qualify them. They go, "Hey, Nelson, my car died. I had to just buy a new car. My new payment's $700 a month." Is that going to be a problem? It is, because now with that new credit that you just took, it might be a less home that you're going to be able to afford. So if possible, if you have to take new credit, I would say call me first. Let's stay in communication. Let's make the game plan and make sure it works so it doesn't affect the purchase of your house. And then, build positive credit history, right? That's a simple one. Just keep making your payments on time, keep your credit lines down low, and, everything should be good. You should have no issues. Okay, some additional thoughts on selling homes, right? Okay, so sometimes I work with New Jersey Housing Mortgage Financial Agency, which is NJHMFA. It's a great program here in New Jersey. They'll give up to $10,000 and up to $22,000 for qualified home buyers to purchase a home. So if you're selling a home and you see an offer that comes through with this NJHMFA grant, some people say, "Oh, this is not good." No, it is good. In fact, I'm doing 2 as we speak and just closed a few just last month. So don't be concerned if you see these grant programs, especially when it's done by a qualified mortgage person like myself. Uh, great way to knock out your competitors. And what do I mean by that? If you're selling a home, let's say within 2 or 3 blocks of you, maybe one or two other homes that are being sold that are similar to yours, how do you make your house different? How do you make it more attractive? A lot of first time home buyers, when they come to me, they go, Nelson, I love the house, but the heater looks a little old, or the roof looks, maybe not in the best condition. Well, this 1 year home warranty that you can offer your buyers sets you apart from your competition, costs about $500, and now makes your house even more attractive, because God forbid the first time home buyer that goes to buy your house, if he's concerned about something, hey, you got a warranty that covers it for at least 1 year. So that's peace of mind. Way to make yourself different. Uh, this is for somebody buying a house, okay? Consider paying PMI up front. It reduces your monthly payment. So if you're putting less than 20% down, buying a home, you will have to pay PMI if you're going with conventional loan. Let's say the PMI, for argument's sake, is $150 a month, and now that pushed you over the limit. Now you don't qualify for that home. Well, there is a program where you can pay that PMI up front, and it's part of your closing costs. And then there is no monthly PMI, which takes that 150 away in this example and allows you to qualify for that home again. So something you might want to talk to me about if my numbers are tight. Another thing that's really coming up on the horizon, consider a reverse mortgage on either purchasing your home or even taking an offer, because it extends your cash flow and defers your payments. And let me show you a quick slide on that. Would be, so let's just say your home, you have cash, you want to buy a house, right? The house is worth 500,000. You don't want to use all your money. You want to keep some of that because now you're retired. So let's just say in this example, you put out about 300,000 towards the house. There's closing costs, so you got about 325,000 invested, but now you have a little over 190,000 in equity. Well, the nice thing about this is now with that equity, you don't have to make monthly mortgage payments, because that's how a reverse mortgage works. It works off the equity. And if you don't, we only look to qualify you off the taxes and insurance. So it's not like you have to income qualify for a home. So somebody who's on a tight budget or is retired and they can't show the assets or the monthly income to qualify for a $500,000 home, they go with reverse. We just make sure that you can pay the tax and insurance, and now you qualify. So it's something to consider. It is an upcoming program, especially now with more seniors. And that's all she wrote. Thank you so much for attending. And again, my name is Nelson Abreu, and I work for the Money Store. Over to you, Mr. Hector. Oh, I gotta get out of it. Bear with me 1 second.
Yeah, switch the host.
Yes, sir.
So I can let.
You got it?
Yeah. Gonna try to send it over to Chris.
Okay.
Hey guys, all right, we're back. Couple difficulties. We're back with Chris Strack, Be Smart Home Inspections. Take it away, talk all home inspections. Thank you, Chris.
Hi, everyone. My name is Chris Strack. I'm with Be Smart Home Inspections. I've been doing it for about 10 years. The whole idea, our basis is for new buyers, to make them understand what it is to buy a house and welcome to home ownership then. But we also do seller as well. So there's different types of home inspections. One's for a buyer, one's for a seller. The buyer is looking for certain things, and the seller really is looking for opportunities for them to repair things and what they need to look for, and be told, because a lot of times you're living in a house and you kind of lose track of certain things that should be taken care of, even from a regular maintenance aspect. It's not necessary really to do a lot of regular maintenance, but realistically, if you do throughout the time of the home ownership, it makes things a lot easier. So the buyer is what repairs, what maintenance is going to be needed. Really the basic usage of a house. Seller, like I said, is generally just for, what do I need to do to get this ready so we don't have to go through negotiation after negotiation after negotiation. That's not really on me. I don't really like to talk about negotiation. I'm sure Hector and the other realtors that I deal with are more involved with that. It's just that the less opportunity for negotiation, the better it is for the sale across the board. We have what to expect. So what we do is it's basic operation and the usage of the home, which means electrical observation. We don't go through walls. We don't open up the outlets. We test out as many outlets as we can get to. If we have a vacant home, it makes it a lot easier for me to get to as much as possible. We tag, we show, we look for any type of opportunity, a reverse polarity, an open ground, loose outlets, etc. That really need to be taken care of. Are they a major problem? Not necessarily. A lot of things I find that way. However, they should be repaired. We also do plumbing observation. So we run water for a long amount of time. And most of the sellers are like, can you please turn off that water? But realistically, that's the whole idea. We want to make sure that constant usage, you have a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath home. There's a possibility that two people are taking a shower, you're washing dishes, you have the dishwasher going, and you might very well be using, other the washing machine. So that could happen. And if you're doing all that, you're putting a lot of pressure on the sewage system, which is really what you want, because that way, if it's flowing fine and you don't see any backups, then the plumbing should be in good shape. What we look for is a little different than what a buyer looks for. We really don't worry about things like cosmetic. We look for foundation, the roof, the attic, the crawl space, the basement. We look for things that could have a integrity issue to the home and the usage of the home. The areas that we do look for, we give you satisfactory, fair, and poor. Satisfactory rating means that it's good to go at time of inspection. Fair means that it might need something done to it, however, not necessarily right now. Poor needs to be taken care of immediately. And those are the things that the highlights of when you get the summary, that's really what you should be looking at and saying, okay, we should do this, we should do that, we should ask for this, whatever. And whatever negotiation you guys want to do or whomever is doing the buying. The cosmetic versus structural. Paint, cracks, and holes, so long as they're not in the foundation, are really not an issue. Paint, $11.99 for a gallon, or who knows what the price is now, but just change the color. Those are things that we really won't call out because it's not going to have a negative effect upon the usage of the house. What we do is the house integrity, like I discussed, the house integrity issues, foundational issues, leakage from the roof, cracks in your joists, cracks in your rafters. Those are things that really need to be looked at and taken care of as best as possible in order to create the envelope of the house strong and a solid integrity. Services that you should look for from your inspector. If you're not using me, that's fine, but they should be able to do radon, WDI. Everybody calls that termite. It's not just termite. There's other type of wood destroying insects. You're looking at carpenter bees. You're looking at carpenter ants. You're looking for termites. Those are things that can have an effect. Naturally, carpenter bees and carpenter ants are not as intrusive. However, they can create issues with the fascia, the any type of bare wood on the outside, including treated wood. They do go in there, even if that's contrary to popular belief. I've proven that they go into my treated pergola, so that's what happens. I would recommend a sewer scope. Newer homes generally won't need them. You're looking at like 85 and newer, probably is going to be PVC. And unless there's a backup, there's really no need to do that. However, it's always a good idea. But the older homes, cast iron, you don't know what the inside of a cast iron can look at. You have to realize that that's going to deteriorate over time. Terracotta, hopefully there's not a lot of terracotta out there anymore. Orangeburg pipe, which is like a fiber type of pipe that does deteriorate over time. Many houses in the Levittown, Pennsylvania area, Willingboro area, New Jersey, they have Orangeburg pipe that if it's not taken care of or it wasn't looked at, it could be a great flow. The problem is it's going right into the ground because it's already broken. Mold sampling doesn't mean you have to have it done, but if you're looking at it and your inspector sees this, you might want to think about it, especially if it's in a prevalent area. We also do pool, in-ground pool mostly, but above ground as well. We'll kind of teach you how to use it if you've never had a pool, that just so you have a better feeling of what I'm going to need to do to operate this item. For warranties, we offer a warranty. We offer a 90-day warranty from the date of inspection, so long as it's satisfactory at the time of inspection. We also offer 22 days from the date of settlement, because I know that differs a lot from when the inspection is done. However, this is only on satisfactory items. I believe that they were discussing earlier home warranty. That is a recommendation, just to get it just for the heck of it, and a sewer warranty if it's an older home, especially if we cannot get into it to do a scope, it might be a good idea to get the sewer warranty. A lot of different companies, and I'm sure your realtor will be able to tell you who offers that as a secondary item. That way it's going to lessen the liability on you if it does break or does have an issue. It's not going to cost you a tremendous arm and a leg in order to get that repair. So that's always a good option. Whether or not you get a sewer scope or not, it's always a good option just as a safety type. And that's about it. I make it short and sweet.
A lot of good information. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Nelson. I'm going to just put out my screen for the ending. You guys see it?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So like I said, it's a recording. So here's everyone's information. If you want to reach out to them individually. Want to thank you, Nelson. Want to thank you, Chris, for your contribution. I will send you guys the recording. It'll be on YouTube by later today. I'll send it to you via email. Once again, thanks a lot. A lot of good information. Hopefully, we can get some customers and clients to check this webinar out and be better informed. Thanks, and take care, guys.
All right, take care. Thank you.
Thank you.